Pauli goes in on Gervonta Tank Davis and boxing fans for people that call Tank Davis the face of boxing. It takes major shots at Tank. Smash the like, sub to the channel, share the video. We're live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. You can also catch me live every Sunday morning with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats when you come by live streams. And if you want to debate, the email address is knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. Let me play for y'all what Pauli had to say, and then I'm going to come back and react to it. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.
If that's the face of boxing, either the fans have gone down to the dumbest level possible, or the media themselves have gone down to the dumbest level possible for naming this guy as the face of boxing. I understand we don't have anything. The fact that maybe this is the biggest marquee name in the West at the moment, it's certainly disturbing, but it also shows you that you can make anything into a star at this point because of the technology, the social media effect, and all this other stuff. The push can be given to anybody. The question, and we should be asking, is why was this guy pushed?
See, in my opinion, this is what happens when you have somebody that's really stupid but knows how to talk, that can make you think that they're making sense. And what Pauli said, in my opinion, made absolutely no sense at all. And let me explain to you why. Number one, calling fight fans stooping down to the dumbest level ever, when we've seen throughout boxing history that people with a lot of similarities of Tank Davis be the face of boxing, it's just a stupid shot. And it's an indirect shot at a way to basically go at black Americans, bro. Because Pauli always has a bit of racial undertone in his commentary. From the things he said about Deontay Wilder to the things he said about Floyd Mayweather, it's always a racial undertone there. I don't give a damn what you tell me. I know it when I see it, right? And since he couldn't say you ninjas is dumb for being fans of this dude, like what's the dumbest level possible, he really talking about black people, bro. Because and it's because of the fighter he's talking about. Tank Davis ain't running around here with a bunch of Ukrainian fans. He ain't running around here with a bunch of Russian fans. He ain't running around here with a bunch of fans from Europe. The majority of his fans are black American dudes from the hood. Let's just keep it 100, right? And so that right there turned me off immediately. But let's get into there's just something that he said at the beginning that I wanted to speak to and let y'all know. Be careful who you listen to, bro, because there's always agendas. There's always narratives to be pushing. There's always people's personal feelings. Me, myself, I admit to who I'm a fan of and who I'm not a fan of, but you can't name one time on this platform that has kept me from telling the truth about a fighter, whether I like them or not. So that really turned me off, really made me feel like Pauli was about to say some BS. And then as you get further into the video, as I play for y'all, he does. This idea that anyone can be a star and that Tank Davis is just a star he is because he's getting the push. Last I checked, every single person is on social media. Tank Davis is the only person that had a promoter that pushed him on social media. So did all his contemporaries. He's not the only person that was on main events fighting or co-signed by a legend. Some of his contemporaries were co-signed by Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward. He was co-signed by Floyd Mayweather. He's not the only fighter that Floyd Mayweather has co-signed. Floyd Mayweather has co-signed other fighters before Tank Davis, and none of them became stars. So to try to write it off as you can build anybody into a star in the social media era, okay, then why don't we have more stars in boxing? Why is it that in boxing, it's guys out here with more fights than Tank? It's guys out here with more, with better, quote unquote, better resumes than Tank Davis, yet they couldn't become the star that he is, and they're in the social media era just like he is. So this idea that he's trying to say to the people that are on boxing scene and try to disseminate to the masses is just wrong, bro. It's just wrong, because you can't force stardom on somebody. Either the people choose you or they don't, and that's what people don't tend to understand. There are more accomplished fighters than Tank Davis in boxing right now. Terrence Crawford and Tank Davis, it's not even close in terms of accomplishments. But the community doesn't rock with Bud the way that they rock with Tank. Bud Crawford is almost a decade older than Tank, and he still hasn't been able to get to that level of stardom. And he's came up in the social media era. He has more accomplishments. He's been in the bigger fights so far in his career, and he's still not there, bro. So he's just lying to people to try to take away, to try to denigrate, to try to downplay who Tank Davis is as a star in the sport of boxing. So that's just a fact, right? The other thing that he asks is, why this guy? He says the best question to ask is, why was this guy pushed? Again, I'll go back to the point of he wasn't the only one pushed. He's the only one that was pushed successfully. And the reason his push was successful because he's one of the most exciting fighters in boxing. The reason that his push was successful because when they pushed him, he went and did what they promoted him to do. So when they said, yo, this kid is the next great one, when Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe would pop all this issue about him, he went out there and he knocked out Jose Pedraza. When they said, yo, this kid is the next one, these guys ain't on his level, he was the first one to fight another quote-unquote four king. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Timalifu Lopez. He was the first one to actually fight a quote-unquote new era four king, and he made him look silly for 6.5, 7 rounds, and then made him quit. That's the reason, bro. The reason is because up until his most recent fight, and even that fight was highly entertaining, but up until his most recent fight, he always lived up to the hype levied at his feet. That's why, bro. It's not rocket science. It's not hard, right? When someone's getting a push, Shakur got that push. Devin gets that push on a regular basis. They've given that push to Tio. They've given that push to many other fighters. Xander Zayas gets that push. Sebastian Fundora is getting that push. David Benavidez is getting that push. All these guys are getting pushed. Some of them by the same promoter that pushed Tank. However, when a lot of them get in front of the bright lights, when a lot of them get in front of the big moments, they don't perform to the level that they were performing at when they were fighting guys that you knew that you put in front of them that can beat them. So boxing fans aren't dumb. Media members aren't dumb. Hell, you're talking about him. Pauli Malignaggi makes a living off of saying salacious and saying things negative about Gervonta Tank Davis. Your producer, he's calling his own producers dumb because they don't just get up there on that show and talk about shit that they want to talk about. They're told what to talk about. These are the topics we're going to talk about today. This is what we're going to come up with today. And you know what that rundown said? Nigga, y'all make sure y'all talk about Tank Davis. We need something now. So you're part of the shit that you're trying to take a shot at, bro. Because your bosses that's paying you at boxing scene is telling you and everybody on that show, look, nigga, I understand. Nigga fighting Jake Paul and y'all don't hate this shit, but y'all gonna talk about this shit. Say that you hate it. Say that he's not the face of boxing, but we gonna talk about his ass. It's like when ESPN First Take or these sports programs be like, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, they ain't America's team. But guess what you gonna do? You gonna have a segment talking about how they not America's team because indeed your producers and everybody know that, nigga, they Americans' team. You gonna talk about them. That's where he's at in the sport of boxing right now. For YouTube channels, Inside the Ring with Ring Magazine, the boxing scene shows, that's what he is right now, bro. Straight up. You could have easily had the opportunity to say, nah, bro, let's talk about Pitbull and Lamont Roach. Since y'all like Lamont Roach all of a sudden now, Pauli and them. Hell, Lamont Roach, boxing scene is owned by Pro Box TV last I checked. Your company, it's in y'all's interest to talk about Lamont Roach, but yet y'all spending y'all time talking about Tank and how he's not the face of boxing while proving that he's the face of boxing, bro. So I thought that was a horrible take from Pauli Malignaggi. Boxing fans ain't dumb. Media members ain't dumb. Stop making any excuse like Tank Davis is only the star that he is because he got a push from his promoters. No, he's the star that he is because he took advantage of that and people gravitate towards him. Everybody got a Twitter. Everybody got an Instagram. Everybody got all these social media platforms. It's 2025 for everybody, and no, you can't just build a star. Because if you could, there'd be more stars in the sport of boxing. And the reason why that young man was pushed is because of the way that he fights and the way that he was performing. And when they pushed him, he went and did exactly what they marketed him to do. That's why he's been so successful. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment below, smash the like, sub up. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.